uh, Bill told me that Prince Rainier had to get married, in other words, or the France would have, is it taken the, what did you say, they would have?
Monaco would have reverted back to
Yeah,
France.
we all knew that. That was very well known.
I didn't know it, thank you. Yeah.
He had to produce an heir.
Yeah. So, in any event, how did I get to meet Princess Grace when I'm born in Havertown on Waverly Road? I remember riding my tricycle up and down there during the bombings. Well, my father wanted to be rich and famous. His favorite book was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Anybody ever heard of it? And I think he was blue blood, and he had a relative who was a Civil War hero. He fought or led the Battle of Bull Run. His name was General Lou Wagner, and he's an equestrian statue in Philadelphia. That was my father's hero. I called him my favorite daddy. He had the courage and the, what's the word, mendacity, is that? He sold insurance. He had 3 jobs. And when somebody's house burned on the street, he would go the next day and offer to sell them fire insurance. My mother would say, "Ach, Herb, ach, du Liebe, you're embarrassing me." Oh, Herb, and I loved him for it because he was so totally outrageous. My mother was Pennsylvania Dutch from Shoemakersville, PA, the eldest of 12, and they're very sexually repressed. They had hex signs on the barns, and I wasn't allowed to leave the house with my slip showing, or they had nylon blouses. I don't know if you remember that. I couldn't wear them because you could see bra straps through it. So that led to, of course, my becoming a sex symbol, and a lot of these pictures you see up here are a result of this sexual repression. In any event, my father loved books and had a collection, and my mother thought they were dust catchers. So I became a writer. And in any event, he was my hero. I called him my favorite daddy. And in 7th grade, he came down with a mysterious twitch. And the doctors said, "Oh, well, let's try an experimental operation to see about this." And they gave him a lobotomy. And he didn't need it. They apologized for their mistake, and during the operation, they found out he had Parkinson's. And so my father was a rough draft for a bunch of doctors who didn't know what they were doing. So now his favorite hobby now for a man who wanted to be a Rockefeller was weeding, because if he was down on all fours, he didn't twitch. Does anybody in here have Parkinson's in their family? Have you seen it? It's a terrible, terrible disease. So he would weed, and he'd climb up on the stairs on all fours like an ape. He'd grunt, he smelled, and when we ate, food would go on the walls. So my childhood was kind of awful from that point of view, and we lived in this beautiful stone 4-story or 2-story stone house, front house, but it was really a torture chamber because it went on. We would take his medicine at night to sleep. He took L-Dopa and all this stuff, and because the mattress would squeak, you know, when they twitch, it would go, and you pray for him to sleep. So I developed a problem with pills. In any event, my life was after that was made up of finding men I could rescue and take care of and try to save, and also of running. I was a runner. I ran around the world, literally, over